Got the Alpha
Man,
White
I'm not
Bronco.
even gonna plug it. There's all kinds of fucking shit out there. You know, just see what's up.
All right. Much love. Thank you for doing
Much
this. I
love
really
to you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Peace out.
There he is. The one and only, the inimitable Action Bronson. How much fun was that? That was incredible. Hello everyone, it's Ariel Hawani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.
The answer is no. He is not inside control. He is to the side of Eddie Alvarez. Here's how you know. Ryan Hall once explained this to me. That's how you know he's not inside control. That is Eddie Alvarez's right knee. You are not inside control. You can be manipulated and moved quite easily. He has the inside knee position. And Follierang thinks he's got this locked up, so he doesn't even bother to really advance his position. So he pounds on Eddie. He pounds on Eddie. Pay attention to this. Eddie Alvarez gripping up on this left hand right here. See that? Left hand gripping up the blue, gripping up the right hand of Edward Follierang. This will prove to be utterly consequential. I'm going to move through this very quickly. Pounding on him. And he's hurt, don't get me wrong. He's going to work on Eddie. But watch. Eddie rips the underhook on this right side. Remember how I talked about how he had the right inside knee position? He drops the right knee out, moves. Actually, no, I think he keeps the right one in. Yes, he does. This is the right knee position, underhook, and he's got a grip. Well, how does any sweep work? I block a side, I lift you, and I take you to the blocked side because you're blocked. You can't defend to that side. So watch this. He is going to push out with that same knee I just showed you. He's going to underhook and lift over the top of his body, push out, so now he has elevated him. And then with this other side, he's got it gripped up, and he's probably going to open his leg a little bit to take him over like that. See that? He pushes him over. Look, watch this knee. It's going to push out like that. Real quickly, it's going to push. He's going to take this knee and bring it back across like that. And then to this side that's blocked, it's to the outside of the leg, not the inside. He just takes him up and over. And I want you to pay attention to something that is just a perfect detail by Eddie Alvarez. Remember that grip I was talking about with Eddie's left? Watch this. He holds it. See that? He does not let go of it when he comes on top. First, what he does is he takes inside position. He gets to side control. Well, I guess half guard because he got reguarded. But he takes that inside position. And then once that is done, then he lets go. Ladies and gentlemen, when they talk about a crafty veteran, that's often like some kind of like, I don't know, nice thing to say about someone who's been around for a while and isn't bad. But it actually means something. It's a guy who's got a bag of tricks that you weren't quite aware of or maybe you didn't appreciate, but they know a lot. Maybe sometimes you don't see it. But when it really matters, they can bring it out. This is what they mean when they say a crafty vet. What a nice sweep, grip, knee, underhook, pull, turn, and then roll over on top. Beautiful. It's like almost like a lasso sweep with a gi. Different, obviously. There's no gi, obviously, but just pointing out something that was really kind of interesting about it all. Anyway, I just want to point this out here very quickly because I keep saying it all the time. We can go back to the original slide. I keep saying it all the time. Grips. Grips. If you guys followed this show in the previous iteration that I did a whole thing on gripping. Gripping is key to everything. People in street fights, when they're just flailing like that, maybe it doesn't matter. Against anybody good, set the grips. Once the grips get set, I've seen people be like, oh, I got choked out with a clock choke, or like a cross choke. How do I get out of the cross choke? It's like, well, remember when he put that grip real deep inside your collar? Yeah. Did you fight it? No. Well, that's why you got choked out. The minute that grip went up there, you got to break all the grips. When he had that grip, Eddie had a grip on Edward's hand. He needed to circle in and remove that grip. You got to strip grips right away. Just want to point that out. Now that will be relevant here because let us move on to what is the actual lesson of the day. You can go back to the slide. Okay, so over the weekend, Colby Covington wins. He defeats Robbie Lawler 50-45. People will make any attempt to discredit Colby, because he is two things. One, he is politically inconvenient to the MMA media because he offers a side of the political spectrum that they don't, which, by the way, I don't share his politics at all, but you'll see that that often bleeds into their poor assessment of him. Their unwillingness to accept a different political perspective, which, again, I find his politics odious, but you have to separate that from how good he is. And I think this was the first time it was just glaring in their face. They could no longer deny how good he actually is. Now, welterweight, in the words of Barack Obama at the 2016 DNC, welterweight was already great, but okay, how Colby makes 170 great. He certainly contributes to that greatness of that division. All this is to say, if you dislike Colby, I'm not here to talk you out of it. Dislike him. But do not let that influence how you evaluate him as a talent, because you will come up short and it will bite you in the ass if you do. And yes, he's also a provocateur with Matt Hughes jokes and Star Wars spoilers. He's all those things. Do not let that influence what you see in the cage, because what you see in the cage is potentially your next welterweight champion. We'll talk about how he matches up with Kamaru Usman in a minute. Okay, so how did he beat Robbie Lawler? First of all, this all will bleed together as it commonly does. Standard disclaimer, I don't present this to you as the only findings or the best or the most complete. These are my findings. I always encourage you to listen to what other analysts have to say. Now, with that in mind, first, your defense equals his offense. Remember, like a week or two ago, we talked about Leon Edwards and how he loved the half position. He puts one hook in. He goes to half guard, that kind of a thing. He is similar, right? So if you take someone down, like he would take Robbie Lawler down, but Lawler would whizzer. And so he would kind of get to his base and kind of turn back in and underhook and then face him again. And you'd be like, well, what good was the takedown? Right. I mean, if he can finish the takedown, that's great. He doesn't need it. You think when you get taken down by Colby, when you whizzer and then you re-underhook on the other side, oh, I've stopped his takedown. No. What he wants is for that to continue. He just wants your defense to be a part of the larger process. He wants to use that to then go back to the underhook, to then stop for another takedown, to then just clinch up with you and batter you there. He's not really interested, in other words, in fully completing the task. He's not looking for a takedown side control mount back or a takedown turtle back. He's not really looking for that. He's just looking for you to keep working, because if he's the one leading the takedowns, you're responding to his takedowns. And so he's just always one step ahead, and it just continues. He's not so concerned with that. And by the way, as we know, his cardio, this is part of it, his cardio is ridiculous, so he can keep this up forever. He can just keep doing it. If you initiate the takedown, your chances of completing it, if it goes to a scramble, actually, I'm going to put it this way. Whoever reacts first in a scramble typically wins the scramble. Well, he's the one reacting first. He gets after it, you defend, and then he reacts. You defend, and he reacts, but he's still one step ahead. You're just tired all the time. He's not. But he doesn't really care about, like, oh, did I secure perfect side control? No. Did I get you to work? Was I one step ahead? Did I get a couple takedowns and a mat return? Maybe threaten a choke here or there? Right, I was one step ahead the whole time. That's all he cares about. 2, locked hands and leg rides. This is big. If you ever watch any collegiate wrestling match or a high school wrestling match in folk style, you'll see someone get down on their knees, their toes, and then their hands. It's called referee's position. The other wrestler gets behind him, grabs the waist, and then the elbow, and then they wrestle. If he gets an escape, he gets a point, right? You cannot, in that position, lock your hands. Why? Because if you lock your hands, it is incredibly difficult to break, and you can just control someone there and ride them out. The problem is, in MMA, there's no locked hands rule. You can just lock your hands forever. You will see this constantly. He will shoot a takedown. They will defend. He will then get behind the whizzer and then get to the back. He will lock his hands. He will pick you up. He will mat return you, and then he'll scoop a leg ride, either to spread your base apart, to threaten the back a little bit, but not much, or just to sit on you, put your weight on top of you. Leg rides and locked hands are the key to everything. In the Dong Hyun Kim fight and the Robbie Lawler fight, also, if you take someone's back standing, like there's a natural, like, why would you take someone's back in jiu-jitsu, right? Because as John Danaher points out, there's a natural asymmetry. They're facing this way, and then you're facing that, right? So you're facing the same way, but I have now control of your back, your waist, your hips, your shoulders, potentially your neck for strangulation if I need. You have none of those